My wife went abroad on a 3-year business trip. Today, she was finally coming back, and I took the day off to pick her up at the airport. But when I saw her, to my shock, she wasn't alone. Beside her was a woman in her 50s holding a baby around 6 months old. My colleagues would later joke, even if the child isn't yours, your wife still is. But that day, she handed me a divorce agreement instead. And this time I was the one who didn't want her anymore. My wife, Lee Minen, beautiful, alluring, ambitious. She joined our company and quickly rose through the ranks. 3 years ago, she told me she'd be sent abroad for work. 3 years, she said, for $1 million. When I come back, our lives will be better. So, I supported her, waited, believed in her. And today, the day finally came. I stood at the airport, heart pounding, eyes scanning the crowd. I saw her from a distance. Her figure had filled out slightly after 3 years, but to me, she looked just right. I smiled, waved, and then saw the woman beside her holding the baby. As I got closer, my wife took the child into her arms. I froze, but then I told myself, she must be helping someone. That's just who she is. Kind, beautiful honey. I couldn't help but call out. She gradually walked out, saw me, and immediately handed the child back to the older woman. You guys go wait for me in the car, she said. The baby cried, reaching out for her. The older woman tried to soothe him. Don't cry. Don't cry. Mommy will be there soon. Mommy. I looked at Lee Manoon, stunned. What did she say, Mommy? Lee Mun looked me straight in the eyes, her tone low and serious. Lang Shua, we need to talk. She walked off to the side. I quickly followed. As I got closer, I could smell the faint scent of milk on her. Her posture, her aura, it was that of a mother. Mean, what's going on? That child, don't tell me. You were gone 3 years and had a baby. Her face turned cold. You saw it. I don't want to hide it anymore. I gave birth to him, but I'll give you an explanation. You go home first. I'll contact you after I finish some things. She didn't wait for my response. She just walked away. I stood there dumbfounded, my mind spinning. I chased after her, but just in time to see her embraced by President CH and the two of them getting into a black Mercedes-Benz. President CH. My heart dropped. 3 years ago, CH also went abroad on business. Before he left, I even gave him expensive gifts, hoping he'd look after my wife. Turns out he did in bed. I clenched my fists in anger and drove straight to the company. Since she came back with the child, she wouldn't be going to my home. Probably cheese, but I didn't care anymore. I rushed back to the office with red eyes. In the break room, I overheard several colleagues gossiping. Lee Nin's getting promoted as soon as she comes back. That was fast. Well, when you're that beautiful, promotions come easy. She gave birth to CH's son. CH can't give her official status, so he's giving her power instead. And that husband of hers, Ling Shua, so open-minded, living off his wife without guilt, like a surrogate father. Their words pierced like knives. So everyone knew. Everyone knew she followed CH abroad. And not one of them told me. I was the idiot left in the dark still talking about how much I missed her. I had even planned to fly out to see her once, but she stopped me. Said it would take over a week, that it was a waste of time and money. I'm doing this for our future. Can't you just bear with it? She'd said. So I bore with it. I endured it for 3 long years, and this was my reward. I cleared my throat. The people inside turned around, awkwardness flashing across their faces. Ling Shua, you here for coffee, too? Someone asked, clearly uncomfortable. Yeah, I replied dryly. And to hear some of your great gossip. One of them, Chun Ming, smirked. Honestly, it's not that big a deal. You've still been getting your own salary, right? And now your wife's making big money. She might even be director soon. How does it feel, huh? Got any experience to share? I knew he'd always resented being under me. Lazy, full of flattery, always angling for a transfer to another group. I forced a smile. A grown man who gossips like an old woman. You ever think of selling yourself instead? Might suit you better. He frowned. What did you say? I spread my hands. Didn't you want to hear my experience? What? You can dish it, but can't take it. He glared at me. I'm giving you face here. You should thank your stars. Sure, the kid isn't yours, but the wife still is. After CH leaves for headquarters, maybe your wife can give you another kid. You won't lose anything. The room erupted in laughter. I snapped. I lunged at him, threw a punch, pinned him to the ground. He was weak. Couldn't even fight back. He started begging and howling, but I didn't stop. Not until others pulled me off him. Panting, I clenched my fists, shaking. I don't know who's living off who now, you little worm. Chunming shouted. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. Just then, CH walked in. What's going on here? What's all this noise? Who's calling the police? Chunming pointed at me. Director CH Ling Shua hit me. Look what he did. CH looked me over. Leiwa, what happened? This is a company, not a market. You assaulted a co-worker. Your bonus this month is gone. Chunming sneered. I won't make a big deal out of it. Just give me 50,000 yen in compensation and we'll call it even. Go ahead, I snapped. Let him call the police. His mouth's filthier than the floor. And I recorded everything he said. If I make it public, none of US will come out clean. I was about to lose it when Chunming almost exploded, but Cho stopped him. All right, everyone, disperse. Adults need to be responsible for their actions. Chunming, come with me. Chunming followed, fuming. I glanced around coldly and said in a deep voice, if anyone else talks behind my back, this is what you'll get. Someone sneered. Long Shua, aren't you afraid of being fired? I shrugged. What's there to be afraid of? Worst case, I find another job. I'm not scared. Are you? Can you guarantee you'll find another job in this economy? They immediately fell silent. No one dared say another word, but I knew my skills were solid. Honestly, if it weren't for Lai Manunun insisting I join this company 4 or 5 years ago, I'd never have come here. My work performance has been obvious to everyone. Laiman knows exactly how she climbed to branch manager, though after so long, she actually started believing it was all her doing. I wasn't in a rush. I wanted to know what they were really thinking. Half an hour later, Chunming came out with the HR manager watching him pack his things and leave. That surprised me. Everyone take note. The HR manager said, from now on, anyone who insults or provokes others without reason in this company will be immediately dismissed. Chunming is an example. As soon as those words left his mouth, everyone looked at me. My heart sank. Was this all on purpose? Chunming passed by me and snorted. Liang Shua, you're a disgrace, selling your wife for your own gain. I despise you. I didn't say a word, just watched him leave and then turned my gaze to Chow's office. This guy was clearly setting me up. I was about to storm in, but the HR manager stopped me. Hold on. Mr. CH is in a video conference. You can't go in. I looked at him, thinking about just now how I punched Chunming and walked away. Did he really think if I beat up Chunming too, CH would discipline me or fire me? The HR manager froze, unsure what to do next. I was about to push past him when CH who emerged from his office. He looked displeased to see me standing there. What is it, Mr. Leong? Have you forgotten so quickly? Didn't you say you'd give me an explanation, or do you want to discuss it here? I thought for a moment, then said, let's talk outside. Follow me. He gestured for me to follow, and I noticed the deep furrow in his brow as I trailed behind him. Once we were in the underground parking garage and inside his car, CH Hua handed me an envelope. I felt it. It was about $10,000. Yuan, what's this for? Ling Shua, take the money and you can keep working here without any trouble. Just let this go. Continue working here. You slept with my wife and you want me to just keep working here? I grabbed his collar. Tell me, when did this all start? Chow's face was livid. I don't need to go into the details. Besides this, he said, there's also a bank card with 3 million WAN, 1 million a year. You're not losing out. You have 3 days, Liang Shua. This is my only offer. Each day you delay, it's reduced by 1 million. I was about to say more, but he pressed me down, warning, think carefully before you speak. After all, I'm the one in charge of the company now. If you don't agree, that's fine, too. When this gets out, it won't be hard for me to crush you. He was threatening me. I scoffed and slapped him across the face. I dragged him out of the car and started hitting him. CH was 7 or 8 years older than me and half a head taller, but he was all bark, no bite. He was no match. Soon I had him pinned against the hood of the car. He roared in anger. Ling Shua, you dare hit me, I'll kill you. I needed him and his face instantly turned white from the pain. I grabbed his throat and bellowed, Chow, you dared to touch my wife. The next second, I was thrown off by a powerful force. Security guards had arrived and were holding me down. How, having regained his footing, was furious. Call the police. Call the police. Don't call the police. It was Leah Noon. She was walking over from the emergency exit. I realized then she had been there all along. Let him go. Let me talk to him. Chow waved his hand and got into his car. The security guards released me but stood nearby, ready to intervene. My eyes were bloodshot as I looked at her. You told me you were forced. Just say the word and I'll make things right for you. Lemanoon was impatient. Don't be stupid, Ling. Let's just have a clean break. I looked at her, a surge of nameless anger rising within me. Lemanoon, we've only been married 4 years. You've been cheating on me for 3. How could you do this to me? Lemanoon was remarkably calm. Am I supposed to call you stupid or naive? When did the company's overseas business ever fall to a newcomer? The company only recruits men for overseas business. I was surprised when I was selected, but I was outstanding enough that the company made an exception for me. Now, she was using that to mock my naivety. She glanced at her phone, which displayed a photo of their family of 3. How ironic. Liangua, you can't give me what I want, so let's get a divorce. I want to move on and be free from now on. She said it so coldly. I stared at her, feeling a pain tightening in my chest. Throughout our marriage, I'd worried about her constantly. Almost every month, I sent her money, fearing she wouldn't have enough to live comfortably abroad. As soon as I got paid, I wired her funds. I cherished her, worried about her, and missed her terribly. Her presence lingered in every corner of our home, and now she was asking for a divorce, completely disregarding our shared past. After a moment, I saw confirmation in her eyes. Are you really sure about this? You want a divorce? Yes, she said. Actually, we've already registered our marriage abroad. We're just here to complete the formalities. Don't make a scene. It's not like you're losing anything. Her words were laced with undisguised mockery and disgust. It hit me hard. It hit me then. I was nothing more than a stepping stone to her. Since she clearly had no regard for our past, I saw no reason to cling to old feelings either. I nodded, a small smile playing on my lips. Fine, just don't regret it. I won't. Good. Then I hope you two are locked together forever. Never to part. With that, I grabbed my bank card and headed straight back upstairs. Once back at the office, I wasted no time submitting my resignation. The HR manager was caught off guard, clearly not expecting me to act so quickly after what had just happened downstairs. The office buzzed with whispers, but I ignored them all. Of my team members, Lee, who had been with me since graduating from university, pulled me aside. Boss, are you really quitting? Don't listen to the gossip. What are we going to do without you? Lee had grown into a reliable and capable team member. Seeing his concern, I patted his shoulder. All good things must come to an end. Once I'm back on my feet, I'll bring you guys along. His eyes lit up. Really? I knew you wouldn't just give up. They've been saying some awful things, but I believe in you. Stay in touch. All right. I gave his shoulder another pat. These young people on my team trusted me. After all, they'd seen what I could do firsthand over the years. Only someone like CH. How would be foolish enough to believe Lee Manoon had what it took to bring in profits? I scoffed to myself. I'd used every connection my family had to help me gain a foothold in the company. Her skills were average at best, and without me, she wouldn't have even made it through probation. But that was all in the past. Now that we were divorcing, there was no reason for me to continue supporting her. I wrapped up the handover procedures and left right away. Sage Hao let out a cold snort when he saw me go. I shot him the middle finger. Enjoy picking up the scraps, I said. Their faces instantly soured. I turned to Mun. Make sure you clear out all your things. I don't want anything of yours left in my house. No need, she said with a smirk. Just throw it all away. Good. It's all garbage anyway. Ignoring her expression, I stepped into the elevator. As the doors slid shut, I couldn't hold back the tears welling in my eyes. I was furious and I would make them pay for this humiliation. After finalizing the divorce paperwork, I made a post on my social media letting everyone know that I was officially divorced. Immediately, friends started reaching out and inviting me for drinks. They were stunned when I told them Lyman had a child with someone else. Liang Shu, is this real life? Feels like a soap opera. You're just going to take this lying down? Shouldn't you sue her or something? We'll help you get even. Just tell us where those two scumbags live. I waved them off. It's not worth it. They're trash. No point letting them stink up your lives, too. If you really want to help, find me some clients. I'm planning to start my own company and take the fight to them. I forgot to mention my family's actually pretty well off. I just didn't want to manage my dad's factory. So, I went out to work on my own. And now look where that led. When they found out I was finally starting my own thing, everyone was thrilled. You should have done this a long time ago. Don't worry, we got you. They patted their chests like sworn brothers, promising their support. I felt relieved. I went back to my dad, asked him for some startup funds, and immediately registered the company. As soon as news broke that I had gone solo, Lion actually called me using a different number, so I didn't recognize it. The moment I picked up, her voice came through. Ling Shua, why are you doing this? There's no point. It's over between us. Still trying to get my attention is really pointless. I sneered. You think too much of yourself. This market's big enough for both of us. Your company can have its piece, and so can I. If CH Hao can't even handle a small fry like me, then you really misjudged him. Just wait. You'll have plenty of time to regret this later. Mun was still putting on a tough front. But I didn't care what she thought anymore. I hung up. From there, I went on the offensive. My university might not be famous, but my major was one of the best in the industry. Many of the top players were my seniors or alumni. So, once I started reaching out, they came through. In the first month, my company got off the ground. I spent my days catching up with old contacts, pulling people in, having dinners here and drinks there. By the second month, we were handling some small orders. There was income. A few more people had joined, but it still hadn't taken off in a big way. Then, I ran into Lai Manoon and CH Hao. I had just closed a big deal that day and was out celebrating with a meal when I spotted Manoon. I was about to leave, but CH Hao called out to me. Yo, isn't this Liang Shua? I heard you started a company recently. That's great. Not bad, he said dismissively. Though the market's tough right now. Entrepreneurship's risky. You should be careful not to lose your family's assets. You don't have to worry about that, I replied, shooting him a look. But hey, speaking of which, it's been 3 months and I still haven't received your wedding invitation. You better hurry up. People are going to say you're living in sin. I smirked. It's already bad enough you stole your subordinate's wife. Now you're not even giving her a title. Then I turned to Mun. Tell me, what exactly are you after? Minan snapped back, clearly annoyed. What's it to you? Maybe you should take a good look at yourself first. Your senior brothers have all been calling me saying that she treated me like nothing more than a stepping stone. So, since she showed no regard, I saw no reason to cling to old sentiments. I nodded, a small smile playing on my lips. Fine, just don't regret it. I won't. Good. Then, I hope you two are locked together forever. Never to part. With that, I grabbed my bank card and headed straight back upstairs. Back at the office, I immediately submitted my resignation. The HR manager looked stunned, clearly not expecting such a swift change of heart after my short trip downstairs. The office buzzed with whispers, but I ignored them. Some of my team members were concerned. One of them, Lee, pulled me aside. Boss, are you really quitting? Don't listen to their gossip. What are we going to do without you? Lee had been with me the longest. He joined straight out of university. Over the years, he'd grown into a capable and independent man. Seeing his concern, I patted his shoulder. All good things must come to an end. Once I'm back on my feet, I'll bring you guys along. His eyes lit up. Really? I knew you wouldn't just give up. They're saying such awful things, but I believe in you. Stay in touch. I patted his shoulder again. These young people trusted me. They'd worked with me for years and knew what I could do. Only someone like CH Hao would be foolish enough to blindly believe that Li Minion had what it took to bring him profits. I scoffed inwardly. I had used every connection my family had to help Lee Minyan get a foothold in the company. She lacked qualifications and had weak abilities. Without me, she wouldn't have even passed her probation. But now that we were divorcing, I had no reason to keep helping her. I completed the handover procedures and left immediately. How? Let out a cold snort when he saw me, and I shot him a middle finger. Enjoy picking up the scraps. Their faces instantly turned green. Lee Minyan, make sure you clear out all your things. I don't need your stuff in my house. No need. Just throw it all away. Good. It's all garbage anyway. Ignoring her expression, I stepped into the elevator. As the doors closed, I couldn't hold back the tears that welled up in my eyes. I was furious. I would make them pay for this humiliation. After wrapping up all formalities, I posted an announcement on social media. I was officially divorced. Immediately, friends started inviting me out for drinks and I gladly accepted. They were shocked to hear that Lee Minyan had a child with someone else. Ling Shou, is this real life? It's like something out of a soap opera. Aren't you going to sue her? We'll help you get even. Just say the word. Where do those two scumbags live? I quickly pulled them back. It's not worth it. It's all trash. Don't let it stink you up. If you really want to help, find me some clients. I'm planning to start my own company and fight him to the end. Oh, right. I forgot to mention my family is actually pretty well off. I just didn't want to manage my dad's factory, so I struck out on my own. And now look at me. Knowing I was finally starting my own thing, my friends were thrilled. You should have done this a long time ago. Don't worry. Leave it to us. They patted their chests in assurance, and I was relieved. I went back to my dad and asked for startup funds, then immediately registered the company. As soon as Lee Minyan heard I had started my own company, she couldn't help but call me using a different number, so I didn't see it coming. When I picked up, I heard her voice. Liang Shu, why bother? It's impossible between us. Why are you still hung up on me? Trying to get my attention now is pointless. I sneered. You really think too highly of yourself. This market is huge. Your company can have a piece and so can mine. If How can't even handle a small fry like me, then you seriously misjudged him. Just wait. You'll have plenty of time to regret it. She still tried to sound defiant, but I didn't care what she thought. I hung up and went on the offensive. My school might not be famous, but my major was one of the top in the industry. Most big names in this field were my senior classmates or alumni. As soon as I reached out, many of them started helping me. In the first month, after establishing the company, I went around catching up with people, pulling in connections, having dinner today, drinks tomorrow. By the second month, we started taking on small orders. The company was generating income and I brought in a few more people. It wasn't large scale yet, but we were growing. Then I ran into Lee Minyan and How. I had just closed a big deal and was heading out for a celebratory meal. I saw Lee Minyan and was about to leave, but How called out to me. Yo, isn't this Liang Shu? I heard you started a company. That's great. Not bad, he said dismissively. The overall environment isn't great these days. Entrepreneurship is risky. You should save your money. Don't go bankrupt and lose your family's assets. I glanced at him. You don't have to worry about that. Speaking of which, it's been 3 months and I still haven't received your wedding invitation. Hurry up. Don't let people say you're living in sin. It's already bad enough that you stole your subordinate's wife and now you won't even give her a title. I looked at Lee Minyan again. Tell me, what are you after? Lee Minyan snapped. What's it to you? You should take a look at yourself first. Your senior brothers have all called me saying that you've been begging them lately without a big company backing you. You can't use those connections. I didn't care. I'd asked my senior brothers to leak that info just to mislead them. It was better if she stayed out of my way. I smiled and said nothing. How looked at me with clear disdain. Over these 3 months, besides handling business, I had people investigating them. How was considered successful. So, why would he pick someone like Lee Minyan to have a child with? She wasn't even the prettiest in the company, and she'd been married before. What was the point? I didn't realize something was off until after the divorce. So, I quietly investigated, and sure enough, I found some clues, but I didn't tell her. Seeing her today, I was even more eager for the day the truth would come out. I waved my hand. Alright, you guys carry on. I'm heading out. Hao smirked sarcastically. Liang Shou. Drop by anytime. Our company's short on security guards. Might be your next job. I turned and left, hearing a few snickers behind me. But I didn't care. If Hao doesn't marry her within 3 months, and even if he does, I'll start snatching his clients. At first, he didn't realize what was happening. But when my former team members started resigning one by one to join me, he panicked. Half a year later, we had our first real face-off, competing for the SC company project at the airport. Hao and his team arrived first, taking the prime spot and blocking my team. Ling Shou, you're late. One wrong step leads to another. I suggest you just head back and rest. Shay was furious and wanted to step forward, but I held him back. You rushing to your deaths? Let them wait. We're going outside. I took Shay to buy coffee and have breakfast at the airport. Only after that did I leisurely pack up a portion for takeaway and head back to the car. Shay was frantic. Bro, aren't you going to pick up the client? President Shin is heading this project. If we don't pick him up, the deal's off. It won't be off. Trust me, he'll be here soon. Shay was incredulous, but followed my lead. Soon. We saw a middle-aged man in a tiny brand shirt and large shorts, clearly on vacation. He was dragging a suitcase and walking straight toward me. I immediately opened the car door. Uncle, you're finally here. I handed him the packed breakfast and gestured for Shay to grab the suitcase. Shay was stunned. Your uncle? Yeah. He's the one who got me into this major. Now he's a big name in the industry and the head of the SC project. Shay was speechless, then gave me a thumbs up. In the car, my uncle sighed. You brat. You really ended up on this path. Don't tease me, uncle. I was set up, but at least I get to work with you now. No more laboring for someone else's benefit. He laughed, patted my shoulder, and said, I'll stay at your place. I'm tired of hotels. No problem. I snapped my fingers and told Shay to drive to my new villa. I had sold the old house. My dad gave me this new villa and I converted one room into a studio. We negotiated the contract right there. Meanwhile, Hao and his team were freaking out. They waited all morning and didn't even get to see my uncle. I heard he was jumping up and down at the airport. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Being early useless. Who told him the project lead was my uncle? After signing, my uncle said solemnly, we can't let our family's kid be bullied like this. C is holding a business banquet. I'll announce our cooperation then. Kid, it's time to get your revenge. Thank you, uncle. Not only that, I also snatched several of House's clients and signed them quickly. I invited some friends and my uncle to a small dinner gathering. Everyone in this industry circle knows everyone. Once they saw my connection with my uncle, they understood. Cooperation was one thing, but taking sides was another. I was enjoying the meal when I saw Li Minion in the hallway near the restroom. Her face was red and swollen, and her eyes were teary. When she saw me, her expression soured. I ignored her and walked past, but she called out. Liang Shou. I turned. What? My cold attitude disappointed her. She got nervous. Feeling proud now? Got your revenge? Laughing at me, aren't you? I chuckled. Oh, you mean how you cheated on your husband and had a child with your boss? Or how you got beat up while entertaining clients? I said it loudly. Everyone nearby, including waiters, heard it. Lemon's face turned green. She never thought I'd say it out loud. You. I patted her on the shoulder. Just try being a decent person. Then I left, smiling. I've always been one to hold a grudge. I'm not good at everything, but I'm damn good at annoying people. She was furious, but helpless. Whatever happened to her next had nothing to do with me. At the banquet, I saw her again. She looked haggard and much more reserved, holding a glass of champagne. She weaved through the crowd with caution. How? When she spotted me, she walked over with her arm linked through his. Liang Shou. You dare come alone today? I was curious. What would they do after learning the truth? I smiled. You're here? Why wouldn't I dare? SC's announcing their partner company tonight. What's up, President CH? Didn't pick anyone up at the airport the other day. CH House straightened his clothes and said to Li Minion, go find out. She returned shortly, nodded, and said, C is about to announce their partner. It's already finalized as we were a step late. Hearing this, CH House's face fell, and it was just the beginning. As soon as I stepped into the room, Lemony's face flushed with embarrassment. I smiled. She knew very well those clients were only ever there because of me. Now she finally understood just how hard it was without me. When I started speaking, the whole room quieted. This is Schwa B Technology. I said SC's newest partner. That's when Chow suddenly laughed loud and obnoxious. Wait, are you trying to say that's your company? He asked, looking around like he was cracking the best joke of the year. You a newbie partnering with SC? That's delusional. But no one else was laughing. The people around us had gone quiet, and the shift in the atmosphere was instant. Chow's smug grin faltered. Impossible, he mumbled, staring at me like he was seeing me for the first time. I shrugged casually. My company might be new, but it's backed by my father's conglomerate. Which company wouldn't want to work with us? If Chow and Le Minion had been just a little more careful, they might have realized I wasn't someone they could afford to mess with. But now their chance was gone. Someone nearby leaned over and whispered to Chow, you didn't know. Ling Shua is the only son of Ling Jingbi. Chow's face turned sickly pale. Even Lanian looked stunned like the floor had been ripped from under her feet. Just then, my uncle arrived, SC's CEO, and publicly confirmed our partnership. Under everyone's watchful eyes, we signed the deal. The crowd erupted into applause. I glanced at Lemonon. She swayed slightly, clearly still processing everything. Back then, when we were together, I had kept my identity hidden because she always said she wanted to succeed on her own. She was proud, independent, and I didn't want her to feel like I was just throwing money around. So, I quietly bought a small home, tried to build a simple life with her, and sent her what I could while she chased her dreams. But in the end, she chose someone else, someone she thought could give her more. She left me for Chow, hoping to go abroad and start fresh. That betrayal chilled me to the core. I never planned revenge. I just moved on, stayed focused on my business. After the SC contract, I worked side by side with my uncle. Despite being family, we kept things professional. I told him if he wasn't satisfied with my work, he could end the partnership any time. 2 months later, Chow's company was falling apart. I'd asked she and the team to monitor everything. We took back every client. After all, they had always been mine. When Linen showed up again, I wasn't surprised. It was impressive she lasted this long. She stared at me, fists clenched. Was it fun playing with me, Lingua? She snapped. I blinked. Playing with you? What are you talking about? You're filthy rich and you still lied to me. You deceived me. She started hitting my chest with her fists. I gently grabbed her wrists. Lemon, do you really think this is some love story? Listen carefully. We're done. Regret won't change anything now. She turned pale. Please just leave. I wasn't being cruel. I just didn't want to get involved in her mess. But I did warn her. Chow's no good. You should cut ties with him before it's too late. She was escorted out, but she kept trying to contact me before she could. Even spin her sob story, the truth came out. She was exposed, caught trying to force a marriage with a child she had with Chow. But Chow, he was already married. His wife, though sick and unable to have children, had orchestrated a plan. She wanted an heir and used Lemon Ion for it. Lemon thought it was love. She left me to bear Chow's child, thinking she'd be his wife someday. When she came back to China, she dreamed of becoming Mrs. Chow. But even with a child, Chow distanced himself. He didn't even mention marriage. After I warned her, they started fighting. Eventually, Chow snapped and told her to get lost. Desperate, Lemonon threatened to expose him for rape. That lit a fuse. His wife, already suspicious, went full throttle. She gathered evidence, called out Lemonon online, and dragged her out in public, literally. Lemon was beaten by the wife's people, stripped, and thrown onto the street like yesterday's trash. Everyone saw it. That's when the world realized Chow wasn't a bachelor. He was a married manipulator using Le Minion to get an heir. And Le Minion. She was left humiliated and betrayed. She called me crying, saying she regretted everything. I blocked her. What did she expect? That I just take her back like nothing happened? Meanwhile, the scandal blew up. Netizens ate it up. They called me the loyal ex-husband who stayed faithful for years and got kicked to the curb only to rise like a king. My company started trending and I made moves, snatching Chow's last remaining projects. He had no room left to breathe. The day he declared bankruptcy, Lebanon came crawling back again, this time crying over the baby. But it was too late. Chow was done. She was alone. And I had already moved far beyond them. They lost everything. Chasing illusions. I built everything keeping my peace. Lebanon stood in the middle of the office, seething with rage. You use me to have a son. What are you, royalty? Do you even have a throne to pass down? She shouted, her voice trembling. How scoffed, eyes cold. 10 million? You think you're worth that much? Any woman can bear a child. You were just convenient because you were overseas. Those words shattered whatever pride she had left. In a burst of fury, Lanian lunged at him, clawing at his face with both hands. Blood ran down his cheek from her scratches. How, angry and defensive, shoved her away. The push sent her crashing through a glass door. Everyone froze. A sharp shard pierced her abdomen as she fell to the ground. It was chaos. She was rushed to the hospital, her injuries severe. Even in that condition, she refused to settle. How, now cornered, faced public outrage and a physical beating from his legal wife right in the hospital corridor. That was when I finally realized How had never been the man in control. He was just a kept man, too. Eventually, he gave Lemonation 3 million when and left her with the child. He divorced his wife and tried to start a new life with Lemonyan. But it was far from the happily ever after she'd dreamed of. His company crumbled and his ex-wife had blacklisted him across the industry. If only they had stayed quiet, raised their child and lived simply off the money, things might have been different. But How refused to accept reality. Nearing 40, he still dreamed of building an empire from scratch without the capital, connections, or timing required. Lemon, despite her confidence, wasn't a businesswoman. They quickly lost everything, the money, the respect, and soon even their peace. Then came the devastating blow. Their child was diagnosed with autism. They were crushed. And like many broken couples, they turned on each other. How blamed Leminian, calling her a jinx. She fought back and their fights spilled into the streets. I saw them once screaming at each other and just shook my head. This was the life she had chosen. About a year later, I saw her again by chance. I had gone to a high-end club for a business dinner. There, under the flashing lights, was Lemon. She was dressed in a skimpy outfit, weaving through tables with a forced smile, calling the club owner brother just to sell a few drinks. She noticed me. Her eyes flickered with embarrassment, but she approached. "Big boss, buy a few drinks from me tonight," she said, trying to sound cheerful. I pulled out some cash and handed it over. "What are you doing here? Where's How?" She sighed. "We're divorced." He took the child. Then she added, trying to joke. "I'm still paying him $3,000 a month in child support." I raised an eyebrow. "So, he took the kid and you're the one paying him?" She nodded, taking a deep breath to keep the bitterness down. "Anyway, tonight's drinks are on you, right?" I laughed softly. "I'm not that naive. I'm not paying for everyone." Her face fell. I could see the years written all over her now, not just in wrinkles, but in that heavy, exhausted look of someone who's finally realized their mistakes too late. I left without another word. That was the last time I ever saw her in person. I later heard she'd tried latching onto another wealthy older man, only to be beaten and chased off by his adult children. Worse yet, her son, left in the countryside, had a tragic accident and drowned. I don't know the full details, but by then I had moved on. My company was thriving. I was constantly in meetings, social events, and negotiations. She had chosen her path. And sometimes life doesn't give you a second chance.